Imagine standing at the edge of a new chapter in your life, a chapter so powerful, so divinely orchestrated, that it will completely change the way you see your past, your present, and your future. Today, I want you to believe that God is about to move in your life in ways you never imagined, ways that surpass your understanding and defy human reasoning. Perhaps you have faced disappointments, setbacks, or seasons where it seemed like nothing was working in your favor. Maybe you have prayed and waited, wondering if your breakthrough will ever come. I am here to tell you that every moment of waiting, every struggle, and every difficulty has been preparing you for a divine intervention, a supernatural favor that will rewrite your story and open doors that no human hand can close. This is not just a promise. It is a reality that God specializes in revealing to those who trust Him. He is about to take what was once your weakness and transform it into your strength, to turn battles into testimonies, and to convert ordinary moments into extraordinary milestones of blessing. He is working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see, arranging circumstances, connecting you with the right people, and orchestrating opportunities that will leave you in awe. Your past does not define you, your failures do not disqualify you, and the opinions of others cannot limit what God has prepared for you. As you listen today, I want you to open your heart to the supernatural, to believe that the same God who has written the stars, who commands the heavens, and who holds the universe in His hands, is also at work in your life. The favor He is about to release is not ordinary. It is divine, unstoppable, and life-transforming. And the beauty of it is that it often arrives when you least expect it, but need it the most. Every moment of this message is designed to awaken your faith, to strengthen your hope, and to prepare your spirit for the revelation of God's power in your life. So, stay with me. Listen with expectation. Allow your heart to embrace the truth that God's supernatural favor is not just a possibility, it is imminent. Today, you will discover how He is rewriting your story, turning what was lost into abundance, what was broken into beauty, and what seemed impossible into undeniable proof of His glory. By the end of this message, I want you to leave with an unshakable faith, a renewed vision, and the confidence that the author of your life is writing a story filled with purpose, favor, and divine blessing. Get ready, because God is about to do something extraordinary in your life. Something that will not only change your story, but also reveal His goodness, power, and faithfulness to everyone around you. When we say that God's favor overrides your past, we are speaking of a truth that has carried believers through centuries of fear, regret, and disappointment. Many people look at their past and see a long list of mistakes, missed opportunities, and moments they wish they could erase. They see failure where God sees potential. They see shame where God sees redemption. They see an ending where God sees the beginning of a story He is ready to rewrite with His supernatural favor. The past may try to speak loudly, but it does not have the authority to define the future of someone God has chosen to lift, restore, and strengthen. The beauty of divine favor is that it does not ask for permission from your history. It does not negotiate with your failures. When God decides to move in your life, everything that once disqualified you becomes irrelevant in the face of His grace. There are people who have carried labels placed on them by others, labels that followed them like shadows. Some have been told they are not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, or not worthy of anything great. Others have lived under the weight of their own decisions, believing that what they lost or destroyed in the past has permanently locked the doors to their future. But God does not operate according to human judgments or earthly assessments. His favor is not limited by your background, your upbringing, or the chapters you wish you could rewrite. He steps into your story with the full authority of heaven and begins to shift everything that once worked against you. What people thought would bury you becomes the very ground He uses to grow you. When God's supernatural favor comes upon a person, it alters the trajectory of their life in ways that cannot be explained by human logic. It is not something you earn, it is something He places on you because of His love. Favor means He positions you for opportunities you did not qualify for. It means He aligns you with people who help you step into the next phase of your purpose. It means he lifts you out of circumstances that once looked permanent and reveals that they were only temporary scenes in a much greater story. People may try to hold your past against you, but God's favor goes ahead of you and speaks a better word. The enemy loves to remind believers of the places where they have stumbled. He wants them to believe that God cannot use someone with their kind of history. But the truth is that God has always specialized in using imperfect people. He does not wait for you to reach perfection. He pours favor on you while you're still being shaped. He does not hold back blessings because of your scars. He chooses you because those scars will one day testify of his healing power. There is no mistake too big, no failure too deep, and no sin too dark that God's favor cannot overpower. When God rewrites a story, he does not simply edit it. He transforms it. He takes what looked hopeless and breathes life into it. He takes what seemed ruined and restores it in ways you never imagined. He takes what the enemy meant for harm and turns it into a testimony that reveals his goodness. Your past was a chapter, not the whole book. Divine favor means you are stepping into pages written by the author who never loses control, never runs out of mercy, and never consults your past to decide your future. When we speak of God rewriting stories through unseen intervention, we are touching on a principle that is both mysterious and deeply comforting. Life often feels random, chaotic, and full of circumstances we cannot control. We plan, we strive, we struggle, and yet many times the outcomes seem to elude us. But God's work is never chaotic. His plans are precise, intentional, and often invisible to the human eye. What may appear as a string of coincidences, delays, or disappointments is often the careful hand of God at work behind the scenes, arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities in perfect alignment for his divine purpose. When we trust in his unseen intervention, we begin to understand that the world is far bigger than our limited vision, and that his timing and orchestration surpass human understanding. There are moments in life when everything seems to be falling apart. Doors close, relationships fail, finances dwindle, and health becomes a concern. In these moments, it is easy to focus only on what we can see, to measure our future by what our eyes reveal. Yet God works in ways that are hidden, sometimes through long chains of events, through seemingly unrelated encounters, and through divine appointments that we would never have imagined. He places people, opportunities, and even obstacles in your life as part of a grand design that only he can fully comprehend. Every delay, every detour, every challenge is carefully crafted to position you exactly where you need to be to experience the fullness of his favor and the next chapter of your story. God's unseen intervention often comes in the form of guidance that you cannot explain. It may be a voice prompting you to take a step you would normally avoid, a sudden insight that redirects your path, or an inexplicable sense of peace in the midst of confusion. These moments are his fingerprints, proof that he is actively rewriting your story. The key is faith and patience, because his ways are not always visible immediately. Often, the outcome of his unseen work only becomes clear in retrospect. What seems like randomness today is tomorrow's testimony of divine orchestration. Many people underestimate the power of unseen intervention because they cannot measure it. They want immediate results, clear signs, and tangible proof. But God operates beyond the constraints of human understanding. He does not reveal all at once. He reveals just enough to keep you moving in faith. He works quietly, diligently, and with precision, crafting a path that leads to breakthroughs, blessings, and divine encounters that surpass human expectation. When you understand that God's favor often comes through hidden channels, you learn to trust the invisible hands that are guiding your life toward his purpose. Divine intervention also reminds us that no situation is too complex for God to handle. Even when all human efforts fail, when every door seems closed, and when the world says it's impossible, God is quietly at work. He shifts circumstances, aligns resources, and opens pathways that were previously unseen. He connects you with people who have the knowledge, influence, or wisdom to guide you into the next season. He turns obstacles into stepping stones and delays into divine preparation. The invisible threads he weaves today will eventually manifest in ways that astonish and inspire, revealing that every setback was actually a setup for supernatural favor. The beauty of God's unseen work is that it is both personal and purposeful. It is uniquely tailored to your story, your journey, and your destiny. He does not use a generic plan for all. He customizes his intervention to match the unique desires and calling he has placed within you. Every twist, every turn, every encounter is part of his intentional design, all pointing toward the fulfillment of your purpose and the manifestation of his favor in your life. When you begin to trust in his unseen hand, you move with confidence, knowing that even when you cannot see the full path, God is already there, shaping your story, orchestrating your steps, and preparing a future filled with hope and supernatural blessing. When we say that supernatural favor arrives in unexpected moments, we are highlighting a profound truth about the nature of God's intervention in the lives of his children. Life often follows patterns we try to predict, schedules we create, and paths we think we control. Yet, God rarely works according to our timetables. His favor is not something that can be summoned by human expectation or earned by human effort alone. It is divine, unpredictable, and often arrives in ways that surprise us, catching us unprepared yet fully equipped for the blessings he is releasing. The unexpected nature of God's favor is a demonstration of his sovereignty and creativity. It reminds us that his plans are far above ours, that his ways are higher than our ways, and that his timing is perfect, even when it defies human logic. There are moments when you may feel discouraged, exhausted, or overlooked. You may have prayed, waited, and hoped for answers, yet nothing seems to change. It is in these moments that supernatural favor often arrives. The door you thought was permanently closed suddenly swings open. The opportunity you did not see coming appears at just the right time. The person who can influence your breakthrough steps into your life without warning. God's favor does not follow the predictable paths of the world. It breaks through limitations, surpasses expectations, and turns ordinary moments into extraordinary milestones. The element of surprise is not random, it is intentional. God's timing ensures that when favor comes, it is powerful enough to shift your story, transform your situation, and glorify his name. Supernatural favor often catches people off guard because it is designed to demonstrate God's hand rather than human effort. When the blessings arrive unexpectedly, there is no question that it is God who orchestrated them. It is his fingerprint on your life, unmistakable and undeniable. He may open a door you never even knocked on, provide resources you never planned for, or place you in a position of influence you never imagined. These moments of unexpected favor serve as reminders that God is intimately involved in every detail of your journey, and that he delights in blessing his children beyond their expectations. Many believers wait for favor to arrive on their own terms, measuring it by schedules, milestones, or personal effort. Yet, God's favor is sovereign, and it often appears in the moments when we are least prepared, teaching us to trust him rather than our own understanding. He may redirect your path in ways that seem inconvenient or unexpected, but these moments are designed to position you perfectly for what he has planned. Sometimes, the very thing that seems like a delay or a setback is actually the preparation for a moment of divine favor that will overwhelm your situation and redefine your story. The unexpected arrival of God's favor also teaches humility and dependence. When blessings come in surprising ways, we are reminded that we are not in control and that our successes are not solely the result of our own efforts. Supernatural favor is a manifestation of God's love, grace, and power, reminding us to give glory to him rather than to ourselves. It transforms ordinary life into a canvas for God's extraordinary work, revealing that he is actively involved in orchestrating opportunities, divine connections, and breakthrough moments that we could never engineer on our own. Finally, understanding that favor can arrive unexpectedly encourages a posture of readiness. Even when life seems stagnant, when prayers seem unanswered, or when progress feels slow, we are called to remain faithful, diligent, and alert. Supernatural favor has a way of arriving when you least anticipate it but most need it. It is often sudden, dramatic, and undeniable, designed not only to bless you, but also to testify to others of God's power and goodness. The beauty of this divine principle is that it transforms waiting into expectation, disappointment into hope, and ordinary days into moments where the supernatural intersects with the natural, reshaping your story in ways that will leave both you and those around you in awe of His glory. When we say that your weakness becomes a canvas for God's glory, we are speaking of one of the most profound truths in the Christian walk. Human beings often view weakness as a liability, a flaw, or a limitation to be hidden or overcome. Society teaches that strength, competence, and independence are the measures of success and favor. Yet in the kingdom of God, weakness is not a barrier to blessing. It is often the very place where His power is most clearly displayed. God does not need our perfection to work miracles. In fact, He chooses to work through our insufficiencies, failures, and vulnerabilities so that the results cannot be attributed to human effort, but only to His divine power. Our brokenness becomes a stage upon which God's glory is revealed. Many of us have experienced moments of failure, disappointment, or inadequacy. We may feel unqualified for the call on our lives, incapable of fulfilling our purpose, or too flawed to receive God's blessing. Yet it is precisely in these moments that God's supernatural favor can shine brightest. When we recognize our limitations, when we acknowledge that we cannot achieve what is required by our own strength, we create space for God to demonstrate His omnipotence. Weakness exposes our dependence on Him, and divine favor meets us in that space to accomplish what we cannot. The Apostle Paul, speaking from his own experience, described a time when God's power was made perfect in His weakness, teaching us that divine strength is most evident when human strength is insufficient. God often chooses the low points in our lives as the starting place for transformation. Our struggles, our failures, and even our deepest pains can become instruments through which His glory is manifested. The ashes of disappointment become fertile ground for resurrection and renewal. The trials we endure, which once seemed unbearable, are actually the canvases upon which God paints His masterpiece. Our weakness invites reliance on God's wisdom, provision, and timing, allowing Him to orchestrate outcomes that surpass anything we could imagine. This principle reminds us that the depth of our struggle is proportional to the magnitude of God's glory that can be revealed through us. The beauty of this truth is that it removes the pressure to appear flawless, competent, or always strong. God's favor does not come to those who are self-sufficient, but to those who recognize their need for Him. When you bring your weakness to Him, you are not exposing vulnerability as a flaw, but presenting a vessel ready to be filled with His power. Every area where you feel insufficient becomes an opportunity for Him to demonstrate His wisdom, creativity, and might. The battles you cannot win, the doors you cannot open, and the challenges you cannot overcome become arenas where God's supernatural intervention becomes undeniable. Weakness also teaches humility and dependence, two qualities that position believers to receive favor. When we rely solely on our abilities, we limit what God can do in our lives. But when we surrender our limitations and embrace our need for Him, He steps in to amplify our efforts, transform our circumstances, and turn obstacles into testimonies. The areas in which we feel most inadequate can ultimately become the sources of our greatest impact, as God's power shines through to accomplish what we could never achieve alone. Furthermore, God's favor turning weakness into glory is a testimony for others. When people witness someone rising above circumstances that should have defeated them, overcoming what seemed impossible, or thriving despite evident limitations, it points them to the source of that transformation. It makes it clear that it was not human strength, but divine power at work. Weakness, when surrendered to God, becomes a living demonstration that He is the author of supernatural favor that His glory is sufficient, and that He delights in turning brokenness into beauty, defeat into victory, and limitation into extraordinary opportunity. When we say that divine favor opens doors human hands cannot shut, we are speaking of a reality that transcends ordinary understanding and operates in the realm of the supernatural. In life, people often encounter obstacles that seem immovable: rejections, closed doors, failed opportunities, or opposition from those around them. Many times we rely on our own efforts, strategies, and abilities to create opportunities or to overcome barriers, only to find ourselves frustrated, exhausted, or defeated. Yet God's favor operates in a completely different dimension. It is not limited by human reasoning, restricted by timing, or constrained by the plans of others. When divine favor is upon a person, it has the power to open doors that no human authority can close, and it ensures that blessings arrive in a way that is unmistakably supernatural. Divine favor is a testament to God's sovereignty over every situation. Unlike human favor, which can be fickle and conditional, God's favor is steadfast, intentional, and designed to accomplish His purposes. When He places favor on your life, He aligns circumstances, resources, and relationships in a way that ensures your path toward destiny remains uninterrupted. Doors that seemed permanently locked suddenly open. Opportunities that seemed impossible to reach become accessible. People who were once indifferent or resistant to your cause become instruments of support and blessing. Favor overrides limitations, transcends obstacles, and positions you to step into a destiny that is far greater than anything you could accomplish on your own. Often, we underestimate the power of divine favor because we are focused on human obstacles rather than God's omnipotence. The closed doors we encounter are not permanent. They are temporary barriers that God can remove with a single word or a single act. History is full of examples where divine favor turned the tide for individuals who seemed unlikely to succeed. The favor of God does not come because of your perfection, skill, or influence. It comes because He has chosen to intervene on your behalf, to bless you according to His plan, and to demonstrate that His power is not bound by human limitations. When His favor is active in your life, opposition may rise, but it cannot prevail, because God has already set a course that human hands cannot alter. Divine favor also protects and sustains those He blesses. There are moments when forces, whether natural or human, appear determined to block progress. The enemy will try to delay, distract, or discourage you. Competitors, critics, or even circumstances may conspire to keep you from achieving your potential. Yet when God's favor is upon you, these attempts are neutralized. What was meant to harm becomes a platform for testimony. What was intended to block becomes a stepping stone, and what was designed to hinder is transformed into a pathway of blessing. The favor of God acts as both a shield and a key, safeguarding you while unlocking doors you could not open on your own. Understanding divine favor opens our eyes to the importance of faith and obedience. Favor does not operate in isolation. It is often released in response to a life aligned with God's principles, a heart committed to righteousness, and a spirit willing to follow His guidance. It is not earned through human striving, but accessed through trust, humility, and readiness to step through the doors He opens. When you align with God's will, you position yourself to receive opportunities that human planning alone could never secure. Finally, the power of divine favor is transformative, not only for the individual, but for those around them. Doors that God opens through His favor often lead to influence, provision, and platforms for impact that extend beyond personal gain. They allow His glory to be revealed through your life in ways that inspire, uplift, and encourage others. When favor comes, it is unmistakable, undeniable, and unstoppable, revealing that the God who opens doors cannot be thwarted by human hands, opposition, or circumstance. Favor is a declaration that your destiny is secure in His hands and that the path He sets before you is lined with opportunities that only He can create. When we say that your new chapter will reveal God's character, we are speaking of a principle that reaches far beyond personal blessing and enters the realm of divine testimony. God does not merely intervene in our lives for our benefit alone. He works so that his goodness, faithfulness, and power are displayed through the lives of his children. Every favor, every breakthrough, every moment of divine intervention carries with it a reflection of who God is. When he rewrites a story, it is not only to elevate us above our circumstances, but also to reveal to the world the nature of the one who orchestrates every detail of our lives. Your life becomes a living letter of his love, a tangible message of his mercy, and a powerful example of his supernatural ability to transform weakness, loss, and struggle into triumph, provision, and purpose. The unfolding of a new chapter in life often comes after seasons of waiting, testing, or disappointment. In those seasons, God is quietly at work, shaping character, refining faith, and preparing the heart to receive what he has already set in motion. When the breakthrough finally arrives, it is unmistakable that it is not merely the product of effort, luck, or circumstance, but the direct manifestation of God's intervention. People will notice changes in your life that cannot be explained by human wisdom or power alone. Your story will speak of his kindness to the humble, his provision for the faithful, and his strength made perfect in weakness. Every detail of the transformation, from the timing to the connections and the doors that open, reflects his intentionality, sovereignty, and care. Revealing God's character through your new chapter also means that the obstacles you once faced are not hidden or erased. They become part of the testimony. The struggles, setbacks, and private battles you endured serve to highlight the contrast between your past and the present, emphasizing that it was God's hand that brought about the change. Your journey from despair to victory becomes evidence of his faithfulness, reminding others that no situation is too hopeless for his power, no failure too great for his forgiveness, and no limitation too strong for his favor. In this way, the narrative of your life becomes more than personal success. It becomes a divine showcase, demonstrating that God's ways are higher than ours, and that his plans for his children are always for good. Moreover, the revelation of God's character through your story encourages others to trust him with their own lives. When people see his goodness, patience, and provision at work in your circumstances, they are inspired to believe that he can do the same for them. Your life becomes a beacon, illustrating his consistency and reliability across time and situations. The testimony of God's character is not merely theoretical, it is practical, visible, and relational. Others observe how he guides, protects, and blesses those who remain faithful, and in doing so, their faith is strengthened and their hope renewed. Your new chapter also reflects God's glory in the way he meets needs beyond what you can explain. He aligns opportunities, provides resources, and orchestrates encounters that reveal his wisdom and generosity. People will witness that what has occurred in your life is not ordinary, that it transcends natural explanation, and that it is the evidence of a God who is intimately involved in the lives of those he loves. This is the power of divine testimony. The events in your life become a narrative of his identity, his sovereignty, and his heart for his children. Finally, God's character is revealed not only through what happens to you, but also through how you respond. The grace, humility, gratitude, and integrity with which you embrace this new chapter will reflect his nature to the world. Favor alone is not enough. The testimony of God's character is amplified when his people carry themselves in a way that honors him. Your story becomes a mirror of his holiness, mercy, and power, demonstrating that it is not by chance, but by divine intention that your life has been rewritten, and that through your journey, others can catch a glimpse of who God truly is. As we bring this message to a close, it is vital to remember that God's plans for your life are far greater than anything you can imagine. The journey you have walked, with its trials, setbacks, and private battles, is not the end of your story. It is only the beginning of a magnificent chapter that God himself is writing. He is about to intervene in ways that surpass human understanding, to align circumstances that seemed impossible, and to open doors that no man can shut. Your past, with all its mistakes and missed opportunities, will not define your future. Instead, it will serve as the foundation upon which God builds a life filled with favor, breakthrough, and divine purpose. This is the essence of his supernatural work, transforming weakness into strength, despair into hope, and ordinary moments into extraordinary testimonies of His glory. Throughout your journey, you may have wondered whether your struggles were worth enduring, whether your prayers would ever be answered, or whether your efforts to pursue God's will would ever bear fruit. Let me assure you that every moment of waiting, every trial, and every hardship has been preparing you for this season of divine favor. God does not move haphazardly. His timing is perfect, and His plans are intentional. Even when things seemed uncertain, He was working behind the scenes, arranging people, opportunities, and circumstances in ways you could never have orchestrated yourself. The unseen hand of God is at work, turning what appears as setbacks into setups, obstacles into opportunities, and challenges into stepping stones toward your destiny. As your story unfolds under God's supernatural favor, remember that your life will not only be transformed for your own good, but will also serve as a living testimony of His character. The goodness, mercy, and faithfulness of God will be evident in the way your life changes, in the doors that open, and in the blessings that arrive at exactly the right time. Others will see His power, His wisdom, and His loving care reflected in your journey. Your story becomes a beacon of hope for those who may be struggling, a proof that God is faithful, and a reminder that He specializes in rewriting lives, turning what was once hopeless into a future full of promise. Therefore, stand in faith, not in fear. Embrace this season with expectation, knowing that God is not limited by your past, your weaknesses, or the opposition you face. His favor will propel you beyond human limitations, align you with the right opportunities, and transform your life in ways that will leave both you and others in awe of His glory. Allow His grace to guide you, His wisdom to direct you, and His power to work through you. Trust that every step you take in obedience and faith brings you closer to the fulfillment of the extraordinary plan He has written for your life. Thank you for allowing me to share this message with you today. I pray that you leave with renewed hope, unwavering faith, and a deep assurance that God is about to rewrite your story with supernatural favor. May your heart be encouraged, your spirit strengthened, and your life transformed as you step boldly into the future He has prepared. Walk forward in confidence, knowing that the author of your story is faithful, mighty, and wholly capable of turning every circumstance into a testimony of His glory. May your journey from this moment on reflect His goodness, reveal His character, and shine as a powerful example of what it means to live under divine favor.